Good evening, everyone. Welcome to the January 2022 and the first of our many wonderful startup showcases. Firstly, wishing every single one of you a fantastic, happy 2022. Though we're 25 days into it, it's so interesting to be talking to each other. And of course, a shout out to all our partners, to all the people who are supporting us, and of course to MergerDomo, who has been an integral part of setting up its fantastic showcases where investors and startups can communicate to each other. So keeping this very light, I'm just going to first say, that thank you once again to every single of our investors who have taken the time out. This has been some challenging times. We all know that it's no with all the pandemic and the COVID situation, it's not very comfortable for a lot of people. But that we have to come through this, we have to survive, and what better way to do this than to engage, communicate, figure out how to raise money, make lots of money, and that's what matters. So it is also my privilege and honor to ask Homza Charna, the CEO of MergerDomo, a partner, a well-wisher, supporter to the community, a great guy to interact with and learn from as well. And congratulations to the MergerDomo team for the latest announcements, the fundraising, the investments they're doing. So Homzad, over to you, sir, and welcome to the show. Thank you.
Thank you, Vijeta. A very warm welcome and good afternoon to all our members who have taken time to join us today. So thank you, Vijeta, and yes, wishing everybody a very happy New Year since this is our first interaction, virtual interaction once again. So to give a quick intro about MergerDomo, we are almost a 2-year-old online investment banking platform where we are on a mission to help SMEs and startups in their organic and inorganic growth journeys. We've tried to do this through our algo-based system where we try to understand the investment philosophy of our investors who come to our portal seeking for the right set of investments based on the thesis. So we understand their thesis, and through our algo-based system, we try to give an accurate match of our startups. So we've been successful. We've been successful in closing, over a dozen deals in the past year, and this year also, we're helping a lot of startups in the, seed to pre-series A stage, and that's where we connect with a lot of HNIs, family offices, VCs, NRIs. To come and join us to help the ecosystem grow. So without taking much of everybody's time, I would like to start the today's session, and I would like to introduce our esteemed investor panel. So we have Mr. Ravindra Krishnappa. He is the managing partner at July Ventures. A warm welcome, Ravindra.
Yeah, thanks, Sundar.
Shruti Singhal is here. She's heading the Bangalore regional. She's the regional Bangalore head at India Angel Network. So welcome, Shruti.
Hi, thank you so much.
Next, we also have Raunak Bhiwal. He's an investment professional at Eximius VC. So welcome, Raunak.
Thank you so much.
Also, we have Gaurav Nagar. He's a San Francisco-based angel investor, very actively taking part in the ecosystem. Welcome, Gourav, to the ecosystem. And we really need more people like you, sitting halfway across the world and still, very, very active in the Indian startup ecosystem. So thank you very much for being there. And we have Mr. Millen Sharma. He's heading the venture capital firm called 35 North Ventures. Milan, is Milan there? Maybe he's dropped out. Vijay, is Milan there?
No, we don't see him yet, but I think he'll join soon. Yeah.
Okay.
He'll join us. He will join us. No problem.
Okay. So for the benefit of everybody, I would request, to starting with Ravindra to give a quick 1-minute intro about the firm and the thesis, or what is your investment thesis for the benefit of the audience. Ravindra, starting with you, please.
Sure. So July Ventures is an early stage fund. We mainly do B2B, B2B2C or B2B kind of startups, especially on the SaaS side. Has to have a tech orientation. We are usually the first we are usually the first check from an institutional perspective that come in. And we reserve, typically do between, in crores, we do between 2 to 3 crores as the first check and follow up in about with a second round of $1 million. Do across ranges, fintech, retail tech, supply chain, etc. And our base is that we have serious entrepreneurs backing this. So all of us have been investors and entrepreneurs. So we actually, in some ways, have been the first operational VCs for a while now, and that's what we do.
Good to know. Good to know that. Thank you, Ravindra. Shruti, if you can throw some light on the IAN philosophy.
Sure. So IAN is one of the oldest angel networks, as I'm sure most of you guys know. And we have about 170 companies in the portfolio currently. We invest anywhere between 25 lakhs to about 6 crores, completely sector agnostic. Since the members come from different domains, different domain knowledge. So we look at all deals. Of course, we prefer if there is a tech aspect to it. And last year has been a phenomenal year. We've done some fantastic deals. Of course, everything has not been announced yet, but they are slowly trickling in there. So yes, the whole investment climate seems really good, and we are looking at engaging with a lot of interesting startups here. Thank you.
Good to hear that from you, that it's looking interesting and the good
Yeah.
Raunak, if you can shed some light on Eximius's philosophy.
Sure. It's again an early stage company wherein we would like to put in about 150K to 300K. Would also want to be the first institutional investor. Follow it up with $1 million in the companies which we like. We are sector agnostic, but let's say we would want to have tech angle attached to it. Primary focus would be in, let's say, gaming, healthcare, and fintech. But that is not to say that, let's say, we would not be looking at other opportunities.
Okay, thank you, Raunak. And coming to you, Gourav, while you are one of the unique cases on the panel, being an angel investor based out of the Valley, why don't you also throw some light how it's looking out from there?
Sure, absolutely. So I'm just quickly, good evening, everyone. I'm Gaurav Nagar. I'm angel based in San Francisco, California. I'm mainly looking into mainly my investment goes for the tech and cybersecurity space. In past, I've been here from past 10 years, and over the time I've worked with big techs like Uber, Apple, and a bunch of other companies. And I have seen startups growing from scratch to big unicorns and decacorn and big companies. We're expecting the same scene in India now, as the startup scene in India is really evolving and growing very quickly. I want to be a part of that journey and looking forward for the exciting companies today as well.
Super. Thank you. So thank you for the quick wrap up over there. Vinay, I'll request you to take us through the scoring pattern, please.
Yes. So the jury members will be evaluating the startups on 5 parameters. Essentially, product, essentially on the aspects which includes the product, market, team, moat. What I also want to share now is how the audience can participate in these sessions. So I'm just going to share a screen where the audience can see how they can also participate in these sessions. Right? The audience can provide these presenters with inputs on sales, connect requests, and other details. So let me just open it. Yes. So there are a set of parameters on which the audience can also give inputs for these startups. And you can just click on the link that I'm going to share in the chat window. And you can share how you can help these startups and add your inputs.
Vinay, your screen is not visible. The Chrome is coming up.
Okay. right? So you just have to click on this link. This link will be shared in the chat box. Sai, can you just share the link in the chat box? Right, and the feedback parameters for the audience.
A black screen is coming.
Okay. Is it better now? I think,
yes.
Because, yeah. Right. So I'll just stop the screen share, because when you share the link, the audience can just click on it.
Sure.
And they will see these parameters. Okay.
Yeah. Thanks, Vinay.
Yeah. So the order of the pitches would be, we would start with Cognomen, then followed by Hyrex, Lexship, iWeb, and Zegomi. So just share the flow of the presenters now. Yeah. So we would request the Cognomen founder, Kalpit. Are you ready with your presentation?
Yes. Hi guys, Kalpit this side. Yes. So I just before I actually start, so just wanted to ask you, do I have to go through the complete pitch, or it's just that I can give you the overview, or what is the expectation here? Because the time limit has to be considered, right? Because I have been shared with 5 parameters, or shall I go with the same flow which I generally uses to actually deliver the pitch?
Sure. You'll receive a reminder once you're done with 4 minutes, and you'll have 1 minute to wind up.
All right. Okay.
Kalpit, it will be best to keep it in a abridged format.
All right.
Quick abridged format. You can, bring out the key highlights in especially those 5 points.
Sure. I got that.
All the best. Wishing all the participants all the best. Please, let's start.
Thank you so much, guys, for this opportunity. My name is Kalpit, and it's been more than 8.5 years working in computer science research and development. I did my master's from BITS Pilani, and I worked with companies like Microsoft and Dover Fueling Solution in the past. And in Microsoft, I was into the cloud computing. I was into IDC, where I was working as a software engineer. And then I moved to Dover Fueling Solutions, where I was in Texas, Round Rock, working as an artificial intelligence technology lead. And there I was leading the team, which was doing research in human identity and vehicle identity, because we were building world's first touchscreen-based filling dispenser. And I think I was working very closely with the leadership team over there, and there I decided to come back and start this startup. All right. So you might have seen. So let me just turn off my video, because I get some kind of disturbance seeing my own face in the front. So sorry for that. All right. So we all have seen that security is that domain where you have seen a lot of enhancement happening. People are looking forward for passwordless kind of stuff in the past. But if you see today, the access control solutions which are there in the market, there is not much research which has happened in the past few years, right? We have seen people are using these hardware devices to give, as a commodity to the businesses. If I have to especially talk about these businesses which are small and medium enterprises, and to afford that particular type of hardware is actually a very tough task for them to do. So what Cognomen is trying to achieve, they're solving a problem by giving an opportunity to all the businesses who want to actually upgrade and enhance their access control solution by just installing an app. The way we have used, in the past, that we install an app called Facebook, and we are ready to, do social networking, right? Same way we wanted to go into that approach, where we will be giving an app to all the businesses where they will not be spending upfront money upon, commodity hardware like face scanning machine or fingerprint scanning machine. And with that, they will be able to create their own access control solution. Now, if you have seen, just after COVID, almost all of these businesses are actually trying to, enhance and upgrade their access control solution. So if you see on the left-hand side, this is what a typical access control solution looks like, which is, there. So it is having a controller which controls all these hardware devices which are attached to it for the building, and all these attachments are done through the DC wiring. And then we also have a server which has to install with an app, and a user has to pay an upfront fee for all these devices. Now, this has to be completely converted into by just an app where any user or business can install this app onto any tablet or phone, whichever he likes, whichever budget suits to him. And then with that, by making use of the Wi-Fi switches, he or she can control the mandatory door locks or sliding window doors for their business. And this eliminates 95% of the cabling and this is 100% touch free. So this is about Cognomen. And if we see today where we are actually trying to pitch in, so we are looking forward to actually work very closely with these businesses such as the apartment and societies, the corporates, the health and wellness centers, and the co-working spaces. So these are the major businesses we are planning to install this technology in the first year. Well, looking at the complete vision, we do not want to restrict ourselves for just access control solution. We want to build an ecosystem which will be a Face ID platform where you do not have to register yourself onto different places you're visiting in a span of a week or a month. You have seen that when you're going to a fitness club, you have to access based on your subscription to that particular premises, and you give your KYC or information there. And then when you're visiting to the apartment where you're living, you have to share the same information to the security guard. And then if you're working somewhere, you will be again giving your personal information and the biometrics on those places also, right? Same goes with the other type of verticals we are focusing upon. What Cognomen is trying to solve is to create a centralized place where you will be registering yourself once, and then you will be giving consent to all these businesses which are using Cognomen access control. And based upon your consent, they will be able to grant you access into their premises and they will want to give you the access for their premises. So this way, I think what we are trying to build today is an indigenous Face ID platform, which will start its journey from a face-based access control to India's first social credit system. So eventually, in a span of 3 to 4 years, we want to build something where we will be profiling people, whichever places they are visiting, so that it will be a tool which will profile users and give them the credibility for their lifestyle choices they are choosing on a daily basis. So this is similar to a social credit system which China also follows, but this will be a modified social credit system in India, where it will be a gamification that whichever places you are visiting, you will be giving some kind of a credit score. And then based on that, you own some kind of a credibility so that the financial institute will be using those social credits to give you more lending, apart from just relying upon the CIBIL score which we use today. So this is the product this is Cognomen as a product. So I would like to walk you through a video which demonstrates that in production how Cognomen looks like. Just give me 1 second, guys. I'm sharing the video which highlights this.
And you have 1 more minute left.
Yeah. Yes, here we go. Yeah, so that's it about Cognomen. I would like to just tell about the market we are targeting today. So we have 3.5 million community living homes today in India. We have 1.6 million registered corporates in India. We have 24,000 large-scale health centers in India, and we have 850 known co-working spaces in major cities today. And that is our target for the first year. I'm ready to answer any queries if you have.
Great, thank you. Over to the investors.
Let me go first. So Kalpit, what is the status? Do you have the product ready? Is it installed anywhere? Do you have it on prototype? Where are you on the stage?
We are into the beta stage today. We have already onboarded 15 customers, and with that we are scanning 20,000 faces every day. Majority of these customers are the health centers, where we have more than 80% of these customers of 15 are health centers. And they have been using it to actually solve their problem, which is like subscription-based access control, where if your subscription is ended, then you will not be allowed to enter these autonomous premises.
Kalpit, hi, this is Shruti here.
Hi, Shruti.
How do you plan to monetize this? What is the business model?
So currently, we are charging $1 a user a year, that is 75 rupees per person per year. And if we look at our current customers, majority of these places are having 300 to 700 people who are visiting their places, and this gives a generation of almost around 15,000 to 35,000 rupees every year.
Okay. Okay. Thanks.
Although we are hardware agnostic, but we see several times that customer also ask us to give them the tablet or mobile phone, because we have partnership with Lenovo India, and there also we sometimes make a margin of 15-20%.
Hi, Kalpit. This is Gaurav. I have two questions actually. Question number one is, what is the TAM, total addressable market? And the second is, can you tell us more about your team?
Absolutely, yes. So if we see, I'm just putting the market where we are lying today. Globally, the total TAM is almost around 120 billion globally by 2025, and today it is 93 billion. In India, the TAM for access control for the application related software is 600 million, and we are planning to actually obtain 20 million in 3 years. Okay, now this is just the phase 1 where Cognomen Face ID platform will be used. The phase 2 will be to actually use this particular platform for face recognition based payments, and then the social credit system. So for all these phases, we have partnered with few partners, and these partners are driving our a business by onboarding indirectly with their businesses. So we have AIDIO, which is one of our partner who is using Cognomen Face ID platform for self-checkout kiosk. We have Perennial Code, which is using Cognomen Face ID platform for POS on the retail stores. We have Educity, which uses Cognomen Face ID platform to recognize students who are giving JEE exams, BIT Valor exams, and SRM University exams. We also have one more company called MPass, and this is a visitor management company, and that is using Cognomen Face ID to actually give the visitor pass to the people in corporate. Yeah. And about the team, I think this is me. I have already explained about me. One of my co-founder is Priyank, who is into digital banking system, and he's having 7+ years in finance, and he has done his master's from Manipal University, Bangalore. And we have Naveen Jain, who is having 19 years of experience in IT consulting, and he is designing the go-to-market strategy for us, and he is from Australia. He lives in Australia. And we have Jyoti. She is the Chief Technology Officer in the team, and she's having 5 years experience in artificial intelligence. She is one of the girls who designed the cardekho.com's filter, which actually says that whether this particular person, by clicking on different links on the Cardekho platform, is going to buy a car or not. So she's working. So all 4 of us are working full time.
Thank you. I have one more follow-up question. Do you anticipate to be IoT based, or do you also anticipate to web based, also like web based identity provider, just like Google and other companies do? Do you anticipate? Have you thought about that area?
Absolutely, yes. I mean, that is our plan. So Face ID platform will be a single platform where you are creating your identity, and we are deriving multiple use cases, where phase 1 is to fill up the upfront demand which is coming from the businesses to have touchless access control. The second phase will be to use it for giving password-less access control to different portals inside your organization, and also the payment aspect. This is what Apple is also solving with using their Face ID platform, what they have. So same kind of approaches we are planning to do it for the businesses.
Got it. Thank you.
Just one question from my side. Who is your competition out there?
So if we look at our first phase, which is the access control solution we are providing, so we are competing with a few of the companies who are doing well in that space. However, they are completely different from what approach we have taken, where we are creating the Face ID platform, and these are the companies which provide access control solution, which works offline in the companies, right? So Spintly is one of the startup which is doing wireless access control solution, where a person has to actually open the mobile phone and their app, and then they have to choose a door which they want to get access to, and then the door opens. Same way, Hikvision is there, which is into commodity hardware, where this actually represent the same problem, where they are completely depending upon the hardware. You have to buy the specific hardware, and all these businesses are serving the big and large industries and corporates. However, we are into small and medium enterprises, and that's where we see a lot of demand generating, and the thesis of having hardware agnostic approach is actually belonging to this type of customers, where they don't want to spend very heavily upon the hardware.
Great. If you don't have any more questions, we will go to the next pitch. Thank you, Kalpit.
Thank you so much, guys.
And the next one is Hyrex. So we'll play a video on Eugene's behalf, and then he'll take Q&A.
Hi there, this is Eugene, co-founder and CEO of Hyrex.ai. We are a no-code voice AI platform for conducting level 1 interviews. With me, I have Syed Nairuddin, who is the co-founder and CTO of the organization. Hyrex.ai is my second venture, and I have over about 20 years of experience in the information technology sector. Syed Nairuddin is from IIIT Hyderabad alumni, and he worked in fintech and work tech startups before. So what is the problem we are trying to solve? 90% of the candidates who basically match a company's job description get basically ignored for a level 1 interview, even when their skill sets match. Now, why does this happen? There are a lot of reasons, but the primary reason is insufficient manpower to talk and conduct interviews to all the candidates in the funnel. In a country like India, you put a one JD, 300, 400 people apply, and the recruiter doesn't have enough time, bandwidth to basically talk to an entire 300, 400 people. Instead, he'll talk the top 10% and ignore the rest. Like this, we have other reasons also that creates this particular problem. So how is Hyrex is going to solve this problem? So we came up with something called as a voice-based bot that can conduct level 1 interviews. It is trained to conduct level 1 interviews, and we added communication channels to it, like reaching out to candidates on mobile phones, on internet using email or WhatsApp, or on voice assistants. And once that is done, now we can talk to everyone, conduct the interview for every candidate in the funnel. And once that is done, the bot kicks in again and basically gives a score whether this particular answer is right or wrong, and to what extent it is right. So it gives a ranking from 0 to 100, and then gives 60% or 70% is right, or 80% is right, or even 10% only is right. We also filed a patent on our workflow in 2020, and in 2021, the patent officer has come back for clarifications, and we are right now in the process of filing an FAR report for those concerns that have been raised. Okay, our business model is very simple. We are a software as a service platform where we have pay-as-you-go model where we charge about 99 rupees per assessment. Then we have subscription model where we have about 2 flavors, and we have an on-prem and private cloud solution for large enterprise customers. We have about four paying customers. We are early revenue right now with an MRR of 34,500. From a competition point of view, in India, we have Recruit, Mutual, Qualified.ai, and in the US, we have Tallview, where all of them provide some sort of proctored or chatbot-based assessments, which is basically providing a very impersonal candidate experience. The philosophy at Hyrex is basically let candidate express in their natural voice, just like they're giving a normal interview to a physical person, and then they let the bot basically give a score on that particular answer. We are not looking for whether the answer is correct or wrong with a yes or a no, but we are actually ranking it from a 0 to 100, and then giving a perspective of to what level the answer is correct. So our ask is basically a seed fund of 3 crores, where Succeed Ventures is the lead investor right now, who has already committed about 1 crore, and another 10 lakhs is coming from IIIT Hyderabad University as part of their Avishkar program. We are planning to deploy these funds to scale our sales teams and also enhance our partnership and channels both in India and in the US. We would like to, of course, increase our R&D team, improve our assessment content, and also come up with a database of pre-assessed candidates to make hiring faster. And we will also like to implement blockchain to secure interviews as an anti-tampering mechanism, which is very essential for large enterprise customers. And we also would like to localize these bots by providing them the ability to speak in Spanish and Hindi, so that in a country like India, it can be deployed much wider. Our cap table is very clean. Syed, Ravindra, and myself hold equal share, and we have raised about 75 lakhs in friends and family round, and another 60 lakhs in debt, of which 30 lakhs has come from the founding team. With that, I would like to end my presentation. If there are any questions, I would be happy to answer.
Just one question. What's the accuracy percentage for you when someone speaks in English or in different accents?
Yes. So we have about from 83% to 95% is accuracies in this particular mode of interview method.
So 83 for which accent and
okay,
accent?
we tested mostly in India, right from north to south, and these accuracies are considering all kinds of people from all kinds of states.
That's 83 for them, and 95 is for?
I'm saying the range is between 83 to 95%.
Okay, got it.
So, this is Ravi. Sorry, Gaurav, go ahead.
What is your current valuation?
So we are not yet valued because we are still early generation, and the way Succeed is investing is in the form of a safe note. Okay. With a 20% discount.
Okay, thank you.
Again, the question on your NLP engine itself, what do you use, or do you use any of the open structure, or do you have what is the value add that you have done from NLP side on the engine itself?
We have not reinvented any machine learning algorithms per se. We have used existing machine learning algorithms, but we stitched it in such a way that it works for an interview process. And that is where we even filed our patent in India.
Yeah, but where do you do the NLP side itself? Do you do anything else on the conversion? Because I need to also look at the kind of questions that get asked, right? So would you need to tune it for personality questions? Would you need to tune it for technical questions? Would you need to tune it for retail behavioral questions? What do you tune it for?
So for now, we are tuning only for level 1 technical interviews. We are not dealing with behavioral and other aspects. We're just sticking to level 1 technical interviews.
So just a follow-up question on that. Do you have a set script that you follow for all the interviews?
No.
Strict set of questions. How do you determine?
Yes. So there are two models. One is we provide question banks. So that means we provide pre-trained bots on particular subjects. For example, today we have bots that can ask questions on all programming languages that are available, even web frameworks, and so to some extent data structures and other things also. But we also gave an option for recruiters and hiring managers to devise their own question banks. That means they can tell what question the bot has to ask, what is the reference answer they're expecting, and what is the difficulty level of that particular question. And accordingly, the score and ranking is given.
So how do you make sure that the person who's supposed to give the interview is giving the interview?
Yeah, this is a very common question a lot of people ask. So what we do is, as part of our interview method, we record the video of the person. And we have other assessments on our platform also. So where their video and photographs of the particular person are taken at regular intervals. And finally, when somebody is selected, the recruiter can cross-check his resume photograph with these videos and find out it's the same person that has taken the particular assessment.
Okay, thank you.
Hi, what is your revenue so far?
As I said, our MRR is about 34,000 right now.
Okay.
So what is sitting in the end, not the recruitment side, the candidate side? The candidate gets a chatbot to work through. Is that a web interface, or you said we are taking? Is there a app that the person has to download? What's sitting on the
Yeah, so the way the candidate experiences the interview is either we send a WhatsApp message with an interview link where he just clicks it and it is basically redirected to our web platform. And he will get an interface very similar to Zoom where he can see himself and then there'll be questions. The bot basically asks some questions to assess them. That question is also sometimes also flashed on the screen. And he can basically talk the way I'm normally talking to you. Like you ask me a question, I'm talking. He can do the same thing to himself. And whenever he's done with his answering, he can just say a next question, and the next question gets popped out, and he continues the same process. We make sure that the entire experience is very similar to web conferencing, so that people are used to that, and then they can be okay talking to a bot in this respect. I hope I answered your question.
That's right.
Yeah, it's all fine. We will go to the next presenter, like Ship, Mr. Padmanabhan Babu here. Thanks, you can.
Hello. Hi there.
Yeah. Yes, we can hear you.
Yeah. Sure. Yeah. Let me quickly share the presentation. Yeah. Hope you're able to view my screen.
Yes, we can. If you can do a full screen.
Oh yeah, I'm just doing it. Just give me a second. Visible?
Yes, yes.
Yeah, great. Good afternoon, gentlemen. Good afternoon, everyone, for giving me an opportunity to share what we do. We are in the space of enabling cross-border international e-commerce. Let me quickly take you with the bottlenecks. This is primarily sellers from India selling to international audience products through multiple marketplaces, right? So if you look at the what was available earlier, it was primarily a very paper and pen process and no detailed infrastructure available for this process of business, because the infrastructure that was built was primarily for a B2B process. And it was filled up with a whole lot of operational bottlenecks. And what we have done as an organization, let me quickly introduce the team as well. My background is I've been in the logistics industry for 20 plus years. The last role I did was heading the aftermarket business in TNT out of UK. Revenue that was about $150 million, 135 million euros. In my team, we have Ravi, who heads the sales and marketing, who's ex-DHL, started DHL e-commerce in India. Bhuvnesh head ops. He heads ops. He's ex Infosys. In fact, Kalmi Padmanabhan is one of the co-founders and the director as well. Asim and Subbu will be joining us full time as in the tech role. So that's the team. We have a 15-member team working out of Bangalore. And from a market perspective, is the screen visible completely, or is the thing in the way? Yeah. So from a market perspective, the cross-border e-commerce market, international market, is estimated to be about $20 billion as per the latest report that has come out from PayPal. And the largest category is fashion jewelry, gems and jewelry, followed by garments, leather products, and then health products has been a big segment that's been growing in the last couple of years. So the solution that we have is it's a tech-enabled, end-to-end tech-enabled solution where anybody can ship from their home. The entire process of KYC is digitized, the payment is digitized, and the delivery to the international market, creating visibility and transparency, is digitized. we've applied for IP in under 7 heads, primarily on this segment, and we're awaiting a solution to that. From a solution point of view, the entire solution is asset light. It's based on technology and working on assets of other organizations. The last mile delivery is done by postal organizations. The only asset that we own is our technology, our people, and the hub that we have in Bangalore that we use for exporting out of India. Like I said, the entire user experience, be it from KYC signing up, integration with multiple marketplaces, shipping, and inventory management is completely digitized. In comparison to what was before, where people had to take in 5-10 documents to the post office and then handle it. It's a very fast-growing segment, growing at 25 to 30% CAGR. And if you look at Amazon and eBay, this is probably one of the fastest-growing segment in e-commerce. Looking at the market, we launched in November 2019, just before the first wave of pandemic. So we had about 20 sellers in that. When I say sellers, these are exporters. We had about 20 exporters registered in our platform. Now we have around 3,500 exporters in our platform. We were doing about 200 shipments when we launched. We're doing close to 12,000 shipments. In revenue terms, the small parcel business is close to 60 lakhs a month. And we have delivered over 10 million worth of GMV to 100 plus countries. We have seen an 80x growth in revenue. Other than the small parcel, we move large parcels as well for people who sort of move larger stuff. And our revenue, both the segments put together, is close to 1 crore a month, and we are operationally profitable as well. So if you look at what is the moat, what is the available solution, alternative solution in the market, one is India Post, which is not something that people could use primarily because of lack of technology. It's a changing business, changing requirement, a new paradigm. And with lack of technology, it's very difficult for someone to pass on a whole lot of these statutory requirements, which comes like IOSS, VAT, and other stuff that you need to provide to destinations. DHL e-commerce was a competition. They were there in the market for 10 years. Even after being there in the market for 10 years, they did not go and build any of these technologies, did not create financial inclusion, work with taking deposits and all that. That business, they sort of wound up in November primarily due to their internal challenges, because it was an asset-light business, and primarily the express businesses are built on sweating assets. We are asking for close to $1.5 billion, primarily to scale up the business, increase the footprint. We've identified 35 odd districts and towns and cities in the country. With the Atmanirbhar Bharat, one district, one product promotions from the government of India, it's a large growing opportunity. We see Southeast Asia as an opportunity to grow in phase 2 with the product roadmap of working on multiple catalogs, marketplace agnostic inventory holding locations, and all that in some of the key markets. Right. So that's more about it. If there are any questions, I am more than happy to answer the questions.
Thanks. Yeah. Over to the jury for questions.
Yeah. So Padmanabhan, a couple of questions. First and foremost, in your 12,000 odd shipments, can you just comment on? You commented on gems and jewelry and fashion to be the top 2 segments.
Yeah.
Can you comment on average shipment size, weight, what is it, and also the geographical split with India as the piece? Yeah.
Sure, absolutely. The single largest segment, like I said, is fashion jewelry, gems and jewelry, and the average weight of the shipments are between 50 grams to 200 grams. So typically not something that works with the 500 grams rate that a DHL or a FedEx charges. From a geography point of view, around 50 to 60% goes into the US, and the remaining 20% goes into Europe, into Australia and UK.
And these are getting shipped from sellers who are essentially on eBay, or where is the discovery of that happening on?
Yeah, so currently these sellers are selling from eBay, from Amazon, and from Etsy, and are an official logistics partner for eBay, Amazon, and Etsy. We feature as their partners, and they find us there. So our cost of customer acquisition is near zero. because what we built is a platform, and then through that we've been able to access these customers. Now, as we see, part of the fundraise that we are going in for is to venture into the social commerce as well, because we see Facebook, WhatsApp, and other areas getting into the e-commerce segment. And the shipping solution is broken for them as well, right? Because there is nothing that is available for the segment, and we are the only option available in the market currently. Sorry, apologize for my throat. I'm working from home and I've got a sore throat.
So, as a percentage of the, so what would be that shipping cost as a percentage of the actual shipment value? Right?
It's a very, very valid question, Mr. Ravindra. The average selling price of a product is between $6 to $20. So typically, when someone like a FedEx charges $30, $35, it's not a viable solution. For us, we charge about $6 for shipping from India and delivering anywhere in the world on an average. Sorry. And that $6, the $16 to $20 is the CIF value, so it includes the cost of shipping as well.
And you do a consolidation at every time. You do like a aggregation of anything else, and you repack and reship.
No, we don't repack, but the express industry, the logistics industry, is a business of volume and scale, right? So when you commit a 12 to 15 days transit time, there is always a consolidation that happens in the hub. So individual parcels don't go. There will be weekly uplifts, bi-weekly uplifts. And so it gets customs launched in India and then gets uplifted from India twice a week or thrice a week. So the USP here is the 12-day, 15-day delivery, which is economical, and the entire visibility end-to-end, where buyers internationally can see the product moving through the supply chain.
Do you even do the pickups as well? The first mile logistics?
So for us, first mile pickups are done by either Blue Dart or by FedEx. FedEx used to do it earlier. They do it. We cover 19,000 pin codes in India. So anywhere in India we pick up, it comes to our hub. Everything is driven by our technology. So once an order gets processed in the marketplace and the order comes and hits us, automatically a first mile pickup is triggered. The shipments come to our hub. And then our processes are completed. Customs documentation, statutory obligations filed, and then we uplift it out of India.
And that $6 actually includes the first mile logistics as well.
Yeah, it includes everything.
And what's your margin left after that?
We have around 20 to 25% margin on it. We are operationally profitable, like I said. Not only operationally profitable, we are profitable at an EBITDA level as well.
So even the last mile, this is like door to door?
Yeah, it's a door-to-door service.
And the last mile is also handled by FedEx and all?
No, last mile is handled by the destination post office.
Okay.
So in US, USPS would deliver it, in UK, Royal Mail would deliver it, and in Australia, Australia Post would deliver it.
And do you also assume the loss in transit charges? Is it on you?
No, touchwood, over the last 2 years, the claims on loss and damages has been near zero, right? Okay. Even with COVID and all the challenges that we had. Unlike our post office, the post offices there are more efficient and more well organized. That's one. And second, the products are broken up into two category types. Low value product where there is no insurance cover on the product. A high value product where there is a $40 insurance cover on the product, which we settle if there is a claim.
Got it.
So Padmanabhan, can you please talk about some of your competitors?
Yeah, currently, it's a very nice position to say there are no competitors in India currently other than India Post. When we started, it was India Post and DHL e-commerce. And DHL e-commerce was a $500 million business in Southeast Asia. India alone was close to 15 billion US revenue. And we were their earliest competitor. We went and changed the landscape completely by digitizing and, letting people pay only for what they use and all that.
Okay. Thank you.
Great. So if you don't have any more questions, we can move on to Akshay from iWeb.
Thank you. Thanks a lot for the opportunity.
Thank you. All the very best.
Thank you.
Can I share my screen, guys?
Yes, please.
Thank you. You also have to unmute my co-founder, Ketan. He's on the line. Do I start?
Sure. Yes.
Excellent. So hi guys, myself Akshay and Ketan, we are from a company called iWeb, and as the screen shows, we digitize universities and colleges. This is a very typical space we are in. People keep on asking us what is the problem we are solving. So our experience has been quite deep. We've been together for the last 15 odd years. But on this digitization space, we are together for the last 8 years. And our experience says that in India, end-to-end digitization is still missing as we talk from colleges and universities end. So by end-to-end, I mean, although in piece part, a lot of digitization has taken place in terms of fee collection, admission, exams, as a cohesive end-to-end system or solution. Even if we pick up the best of IIT IIMs, they are not totally seamless as far as you look at a constant system in terms of student access, alumni access, or be it administrators. It's not seamless as we talk. So our aim at iWeb is to integrate all of these silos and give them a common system on a very different kind of a business model, which I'll come to. So this is the screen. This is the main screen where I show what we do. Like I said, we digitize institutes. On the left side, if you look at our icon, we have the institutes, government, professors, everybody sitting on a common platform. We have 300 odd modules in the system. And like I said, our aim is to automate all of the process for an institute. But on the right side, if you look, I am marrying two components. I am marrying the institutes to various other content providers, lending companies, fintechs, banks, because I have a big student data and a big student access which come on the platform. So as we talk, we have 7 lakh students which come on our platform, and this makes our proposition very interesting. In technical parlance, we call it a SaaS-enabled marketplace, where I'm offering an end-to-end SaaS solution at no cost to institutes, but I monetize through my alliances with banks, gateways, and multiple other partners who are on our platform. I'll come to that. I'll clarify this better. So the application sits with universities, colleges on a freemium model. It automates, digitizes their operations for free. But the advantages come multifold. I have banks and fintechs who benefit with me in terms of CASA collection, float, payment gateway collection fees, etc. And there are other channel partners which we have onboarded. Like I said, right from content to books to counseling, because I have 7 lakh students hitting the platform every now and then. It makes a win-win for all of the partners on the platform. So like I said, we are 300 odd modules. Since we have 4 minutes, I'll skip this, but it's a deep product. Basically, it covers everything what you could think of in an institute or a university running. Market opportunity is big in terms of end-to-end automation. Less than 5% is digitized as we talk. Even the best of IIT IIMs don't have a seamless integrated system, and that's what we offer on a free model. The GTM part is very interesting because business is brought by partners driven by banks. As we talk, I have 6 banks who work with me, right from Equitas, Bank of Baroda, Kotak, Axis, Yes, Nancy, and also HDFC. The only interest for the banker is to go and pitch us so that they get lion's share of the CASA or the float or the collection from the institute. So we are being used as a quid pro quo, and we are integrated with these banks, so that helps keep it very seamless. They bring a lot of business on board, and the only thing we have to go is plug and play, deploy it, digitize, and go forward, because my monetization happens through them and the channel partners who are on the platform. So this slide becomes very important, the revenue model. So like I said, banks is one channel which we are already earning. Plus I have a gateway channel where I earn on a per transaction basis from the PGs which are integrated whenever the student pays fees online. And the other channel of marketplace, right from edtech, content, student housing, lending, insurance, which is now live, is also adding to my revenues. So basically what a college or a university or a student had to pay me, I'm able to monetize for free from this channel which I have developed, only because of the scale and the number of students we are having. So a complex paid model, we've just SaaSified and made it free. Okay, some of our customers, so we've tried keeping it end to end. So we've dealt with the best like research institutes, IITs, ISBs. Plus I have also done government institutes, just to keep the flavor such that in an Indian scenario, we've tried to address all kind of institutes or universities, be it yoga, be it veterinary, be it agriculture, because we work with banks. So I don't want that at the back of their mind that we can only sell to this kind of institutes. We are totally open. We say we've given it to private, government, schools, high-end colleges, and it works with all. Our team, so like I said, we have a deep relationship. We've done a lot of pivots. We've been there, done that together. So me and Ketan are on the call. There are other 2 founders. Varsha heads our director, sales and marketing, and Yogi is a part heads our channel. So we've been there together long enough. iWeb technically is an old company, but on the education part, we are together from the last 8 years. And we have 2 pivots here, but the current pivot is a totally free model, but the product remains the same. What we are looking at, we are looking to raise 4 crores. As we talk, we have a soft commitment from SOSV Accelerator. So kind of 1.5 crore is going to come from the SOSV side. As we talk, we are trying to do the other fundraise to close this round at 4. This is more or less like a pre-series A. We have not raised any money still now. We have a simple cap table, 25% each between the 4 of us. And we've put in around 2.10 of our own. So 2 crore 10 lakhs in equity has been already put in the company. We also have a debt. We have a overdraft against my house, which we use it for working capital. And the scale is immense. Business is being brought by banks. So we are comfortable and confident on going forward. As we talk, like I said, we have 7 lakh students, 10 universities, 450 colleges. And going forward, we have a decent pipeline of additional 7 lakh students to be closed in the next couple of quarters. Business is brought by banks. We are just looking at the funds so that we are able to get in more projects to deploy, implement, and close the implementation faster. So that's all from our side. I am open for Q&A. Ketan is also there on the call. We both can take the Q&A.
Hey, I don't know if others have a question, but let me go first again. It's a good one. So quick two questions. One is when you go into an institute, I understand there's a sales cycle is already pre-done because of the banks, but what's your implementation cycle? Number one, what does it take? How long does it take?
So as a thumb rule, if I take a mid-size institute, we have divided the implementations to 2 parts. One is the academic automation and the second is the non-acad. Academic automation is usually quicker, so within a month or month and a half. So between 30 to 45 days, we go live with ACAD. So by ACAD, I mean the student life cycle, the student management, teacher data. That's quite straightforward. So it's easier to do. And my revenue depends on the student life cycle. So between 35 to 40 days is for ACAD. The non-academic depends on the kind of institute it is. So if it's say a large government institute with government university with multiple affiliated colleges, it takes anywhere between 60 to 90 days, depending on the number of colleges, constituent colleges, affiliation status, and the kind of institute it is. Is it a government university, state, center, funded, non-funded? Based on that, it differs. But overall, I can say it's a 4 to 6 month journey, which from start to deploying all the modules, ACAD and non-ACAD.
So, and your current contracts with the bank, how long does it last? Is there, because you said you talked about float and others, what is their ongoing?
Usually the good part is the banks do sign up with us on a long-term basis because they want to sign up with a customer on a long-term basis. So whenever we do a tripartite, most of our deals are 5, 7, or even 10 years long between us, the bank, and the customer. Because like you rightly said, they look into the float part. So for them, the annualized float and multiplied by the number of years makes sense to calculate how they can monetize us on a long-term basis. So usually it is 5, 7, or 10 years deals between us, the bank, and the customer.
So, and when you said you had SOSV, is that a term sheet that you have? Is that some kind of a?
So yeah, we have a term sheet. We are just waiting for the final discussions to happen this week, and we'll be signing. So it's an accelerator. It's quite straightforward per se. And so it's a term sheet as well as a program which we have to enroll. Okay, so it's two-way. It works 2 ways. And that once you enroll into that program and you sign the SPA, it gets going. So we'll get the first tranche then. So it's more or less kind of sorted, done.
This is a simple question, Akshay. When did you incorporate? Which year? Has it been more than 10 years for you?
As far as the company goes?
Yeah, incorporation date.
Absolutely. Yeah. So we are old, like we formed way back in 2005. The education part is 2013 onwards pivot. But yeah, as a company, iWeb was formed by me and Ketan in 2005.
Got it. And the money you're raising for, it's going to be for the same company, or has some investor told you that, let's say, you would be incorporating a new one and
so honestly, we are okay. Like there are some investors who have said that, since the company has crossed 10 years, based on their funds and all, they need a company which is 10 years or younger. So as founders, we are fine. If that's a compulsion, we could do that. But so that's not something which is stopping us. But with SOSP, they're fine with an older company. So we've not changed the company or formed a new one. But yes, some funds who are talking to us have suggested this. And some have also suggested to keep this premium business in the new company and the older tender-based, older pivot in the older company. So we are actually, as founders, we are open to that if that helps the cause and helps us raise money.
Last question. So when you say, let's say you have covered everything, so are you also talking about LMS solutions also for the universities?
No, so I tell you what we don't do. So as far as the operations of universities goes, we cover end to end, but what we don't do is the student life cycle in terms of the LMS content, parent teacher integrations. We don't compete with a Zoom or a Teams. We basically just integrate with them. We've not built any stack to compete with them. So post-COVID, most of our customers, wanted the classrooms and everything on the same platform. So we integrated with them. So we don't do LMS, we don't do content, and we don't do classrooms.
And what's your revenue?
So this year we are on track to close around 2.5 crores. Okay, last year was actually bad due to COVID. The fee collection had taken a dip. And that was actually the year where we were full-fledged targeting the freemium model. So we took a hit, but in terms of number of students, it was good. Like we catapulted from 3.5 lakhs to 7 lakhs last year, courtesy COVID, and the banks being aggressive. But this year, yes, since fees are being collected, we should do roughly around 2.5 crores by March 2022.
Got it. Yeah.
How much are you looking to raise?
So like I said, we are looking to raise total 4 crores. SOSP does 1.5 crores odd. So still 3.5 crores is what we are looking to raise in this.
Okay, great. So we'll go to our last presenter. Thank you.
Thanks, guys,
for the presentation. And so we have.
Thanks, everybody. Yeah.
Mr. Sarvotam, are you ready?
Yeah. Good evening. I'm trying to get this sharing my presentation.
Yeah.
Have you given for me to share the presentation?
Yes. You have a share screen below.
Yeah, I'm seeing the. Yes, I got it. So are you able to see the screen now?
Yes, we are.
Okay, thanks. Good evening to everyone. This is Zecomi. I'm Pejavar Sarvotam representing Zecomi. We have incorporated Zecomi around 2016 and launched the product 2017 with the intent to become largest B2B platform for circular economy, especially on the waste management sector. Are you seeing the next screen summary?
Yes.
Okay, thanks. So Zecomi is really launched to address large, disorganized market. It's mainly, in the informal sector, which is growing from currently $40 billion to $100 billion by 2025. This is where we thought, the best thing is to bring an integrated B2B platform to, get every stakeholder of the waste management on the same platform. The important is we are the first of its kind when we launched in 2017 and a profitable business model, but also the other side is social impact. So this is where, the team came together, which is around 150 to 170 man-year team with a professional background, brought this asset-light model. And also when we looked at bringing professionalism process orientation, which brings waste agnostic platform. So the core principle, I'm just trying to address here, the overall Zecomi solution. Then the rest of the slides, when I go, it's just a supporting information. So to track this, where we thought, the best thing is to bring a transparency, visibility. This is what the corporates are looking for, what their current issues, what they look at. The company is already having a good traction, more than 60 clients. Most of them are MNCs, and we have done 1,000 transactions already across pan-India, from Kashmir to Kanyakumari or Surat to Baiguni in Sikkim. ISO compliant, high growth. If you look at our growth is around 500% for last 12 months experience, and we are already on track to reach 30 crore this year target. We have a very good business strategy and operation plan to grow in 4 years at least 100 times of our revenue. And we are rewarded or recognized by CII Best Technology for waste reduction. We are now incubated under Project Amplify Accelerator, sponsored by Microsoft and Accelerator. So just recently in 2022 as a handpick startup. If you look at the waste segment, which we are talking about, $100 billion, which is growing by 2025. A lot of areas for us to focus. Currently, we are focusing on e-waste, lead, battery, and metals, which itself gives around 20 billion marketplace. At the same time, we are looking for extending our digital platform for other areas in coming years as well. Why Zecomi? The reason why we brought this platform is especially from the corporate issues, what we found, especially in terms of transparency or ESG reputational issues, the supply chain malpractices. Compliance are becoming very stringent as becoming COP26 or climate change actions driven by the companies or governments regarding the carbon neutral. So if you look at from the corporate perspective, they are looking at focusing on waste management, from the digitization and the transparency perspective. This is where Zecomi brought a kind of product which will address these issues, including bringing the economic and social problems to be addressed as part of the solution. So what the selling point for us today compared to any other competitors in the space, clearly the three pillars: transparency, visibility through digitization, and compliance. Compliance is very important today because of the waste management, the way it brings environmental impact or even the sustainability issues. So we have brought compliance, due diligence of the buyers, knowing what exactly the operation process the buyers do. So these are really integrated into our product. So when we propose this solutioning, we bring an integrated solution from the price discovery to the compliance, the sustainability, circularity, including big data analytics. This is where the clients whom we brought clearly looking as an end-to-end solutioning from not only disposal, getting even ESG reports as well. So how the platform works? Today, it's a cloud-based smart technology and providing one-stop solution, whether it's a e-waste or a battery or a packaging material, whichever, going from multi-location, multi-disposal type, everything is integrated through this platform, even giving a real-time dashboards as well. So where we stand, as I said earlier, more than 60 clients, most of them are MNCs. And we have 19 industry sector guys are working with us. And if you look at the financials perspective, we are growing from 3 to 15 crores to this year. We are trying around 30 crores on track. EBITDA, we are going to be positive by next year. At the same time, we have a very social impact, which clients are really looking, not only the commercial, we are also providing the sustainability factor. Our business model, we take transaction fees and registration annual fees from both the buyers and sellers. Interesting also, we make float interest on our earnest money deposit, or what you call caution deposit. These are our top clients. We cover all the 19 industry sectors, whether it's a public sector or healthcare or IT BPO. That's where we are growing. We are looking for 5 crore funding, again, evenly distributed. Especially, we are looking at as an asset-light model. We are looking for key resources and also building product and center of excellence in new waste segments. Our team, We have, as I said, 150 to 175 man-years of team full-time working here. Myself, Pejawar, and Chidambaram, who is also on the call, who looks after the customer experience and technology. Rajiv Jain, who looks after the sales. Romi Malhotra is also full-time on strategy and sales, who come from background of CXO leadership team, as well as Uday Gupta, who was part of Mahindra Group companies at CXO role, who is really helping us on the sustainability. Meenakshi looks after our CSR and social impact. This is Zecomi for you.
Okay, over to the investors.
Yeah. So I can go first. What is your current valuation?
We have not done the formal valuation. We are standing internally when we have done, it's around 60 crores.
60 crores. Okay, thank you.
So, Sarvatam, quick one, just for me to understand. I understand the front end and I understand the ESG piece. Operationally, where does the disposal happen? I mean, what happens beyond the collection? At what stage do you take it to disposal? What happens there?
So, I have not got your name, please.
My name is Ravindra.
Hi, Ravindra. Yeah, so we are making sure that all our buyers are authorized waste processor or recyclers. So we track through the disposal in their factory. And then also now we are building technology to track even the downstream. Because for example, when you dispose e-waste from any of our corporates, it goes into a recycler where it will be dismantled plastic, glass, and chemicals. So we are tracking down through the downstream vendor, through our technology, which vendor has taken how much of those from the weight or perspective or quality, quantity, all that, Ravindra. So this is a part of through and through our solutioning we provide as a sustainability.
Yeah, and so from a collection, where do you handle the collection? So what I just want to understand, what are your handoff points? Where do you get it and where do you hand off?
We are a digital platform. When we say we never collect, we clearly connect the waste processors or recyclers or who are authorized to our corporate sellers, to make sure that all the logistics also handled by the buyers who pick up the waste.
Sure.
So we are a clear asset-light model, Ravindra, here, which this is what the corporates are looking for as transparency and visibility. That's what we bring, not we directly pick up. Our competitors are having this hybrid model where they pick up and then pass it on to the vendors, where we bring a complete transparency through our asset-light model.
Got it. And these are what, industrial pickups? I saw a lot of IT companies. I'm assuming that's for e-waste.
Actually, you are right, Ravindra. We are actually, having a 19 industry sector, mainly from IT, BPO to healthcare to even solar renewable energy, where we started on the e-waste, IT assets, e-waste, or servers, or even air conditioners coming from any plants. Then lead battery, for example, which every industry uses lead battery, even metal scraps. So we are working with all the industries as we wanted to bring most of the brands from the sector so that they will say cross-reference who your customer in IT or who your customer in public sector, who is customer in healthcare. So if you look at, yes, our disposal is currently e-waste, battery, and metal scraps. We are also going to venture into other waste as the client are requesting, because clients are looking for one-stop solution through our platform.
And what's the ESG report that they ask for? What is the ESG compliance that you need to work through?
There are certain parameters which we are looking at. For example, when you talk about ESG environment, you talk about formal recycling and supplier due diligence, making sure that things goes in the right format and it becomes a circularity. So they will look at how the landfill is avoided, how much of the water conservation is avoided, or how much trees saved, how much landfill avoided. All that parameter we give for each of that disposal. Secondly, on the social side, child labor or ethical practices, which we track because we have a team to go and look at every buyer, what he exactly does for hazardous or e-waste or battery or whichever is compliant. The last one is governance.
Do you score the disposal process? Do you score the disposers?
We score the disposers as well as overall disposal process. That is where this platform not only look at the KYC and the practices of the buyer. The buyer cannot just come on board without due diligence. We undertake complete KYC and due diligence of the buyers who will be onboarding with us. We are around 300 plus buyers onboarded. They are all handpicked, especially for e-waste and battery, to make sure that they manage disposal rightfully. So we track the disposal mechanism. We track the disposers as well.
Okay.
This is where we bring the background check for all the buyers for the corporate, so that they are rest assured on their ESG and supply chain.
Got it. Okay.
Great, fantastic. So if you're done with the questions, we will have the investors, one is evaluate the presentations, and they would share their takeaways in a minute or two, right? We will have the, so Sai, can you play the video? We'll just get the investors on board to share their takeaways towards the end. So over to you, Gaurav. You can invite the investors to share their takeaways.
Sure. Thank you.
Gaurav, we can't hear you.
Am I audible?
Yes.
Okay, super. Thank you. Thanks, Vinay and Vijayda. Thank you, Ty and MSH, for this opportunity. The partnership has been wonderful so far. I'd like to thank all the panelists who have joined us today, and also the audience who have taken time out in their busy schedule to be with us. I'd like to request the panelists, if you can just share your insights and some takeaway for our because all of them who are present here today, they're either looking at scale or funding or some sort of mentorship from investors like yourself and also peers from the audience. So some quick takeaways, if you can just share for a minute or so, minute or two, so we could look at kind of a summarizing this whole activity for this session. And after that, we will probably take 2-3 questions from the audience for the panel, and that could be the summing up. So Ravindra ji, you want to start?
Sure. So I think a very, very good breadth of offerings, right? Right from somebody who's on waste to an iWeb to something like a Legship. The whole cycle, I think, is very wide. So fantastic breadth. If I were to put one feedback out, I would say, while you're going through the process, I know I saw it happen in one of the cases, but speak into the piece where you talk about the big picture first, and in a talk that is as short as this 5 or 10 minutes, I think what you're trying to do is cram a whole lot of information. In some cases, it becomes very difficult for us to absorb. So I would suggest start by saying, what is it that you want upfront? I know it sounds counterintuitive, but actually it helps a lot, right? Because the way that helps you focus on the message is very, very clear. I'll say, this is what I'm looking for. This is how long I've been working at this. This is our current traction, and then go into the details. Otherwise, in some cases, it is only on an answer to a question that we are picking some of this information. I'd rather just put that out upfront and go through because it saves a bit of time. It also helps people focus. Getting those questions out of the way helps people focus on the core of what you're trying to pitch, which is the big picture, right? That lets you do the big picture. I think that's the only feedback. Otherwise, great job. What I liked a lot is not just the passion, but I like the maturity of some of the things that we heard today, right? Which is very, very heartening.
Great, thank you so much. Shruti, can I request you to go next?
Yeah, sure. So I think as Ravindra mentioned, that's true. I think they were phenomenal startups, very, very interesting, and a completely different variety of startups. That makes it even more exciting. And also they pitched well. But some of them which I saw, an interesting aspect, some I don't think had any mentors, and I felt that mentorship is important in startups because sometimes the founders are so focused on their picture that they don't see it from a holistic basis. And it's good to get a mentor on board. It doesn't have to be an advisor who's helping you raise funds, but it can actually be somebody who either has the domain knowledge, or it could be just a founder from a completely different business and who's kind of scaled up and can actually help you overcome some of those challenges. And COVID has definitely taught us that we have to pivot, we have to really innovate as time goes on. So I would recommend, from my 2 bit, would be that definitely identify a mentor. It's not like the first mentor you identify, he has to come on board. It may take you a couple of rounds till you actually get someone on board. But an important aspect, before you actually go into the whole fundraising aspect as well, to consider that. To give you the bigger picture, because sometimes we see startups, they understand the technology so well, but the business is lacking, or they understand the business so well and something else is lacking, or marketing is lacking. So I think it's an outsider's view when you get a mentor on board. So that's my 2 bit, if we can get somebody on.
Thank you so much. Raunak, you want to go next?
Sure. So I really like the startups. The variety was actually quite good, and the kind of things these people were trying to solve was actually very interesting. The only thing, let's say, I am not really sure how that would have played out, but let's say in some of the cases would have liked to look at the product itself. That would have made things easier. I think in HireX, I would have actually wanted to see a small video so that, let's say, things would have been easier for us to understand at what level those people are at, and then could have directed the questions a lot better. But and on top of it, if let's say, since we are evaluating them on those 5 parameters, and since there's a lot of time constraint, so we could have actually asked them to stick with those 5 parameters so that things could have been covered a lot faster. So I think those were the 2 bits which I had.
Sure, great. Thanks so much. Gaurav Nagar, can I request you, please?
Sure. Great startups, passionate entrepreneurs, everything was good. The only one recommendation that I have is that if all of them can do one slide with the basic question about ask, current valuation, what's are the plan going to international, just like a checkbox, that makes things super easy for us. What happens during the pitch, we try to pick up from the slides and then do the math ourselves, right? Or try to catch those questions during the questionnaire session in the last. If they have one slide with all those answers right away, I think that will help us tremendously.
Super.
Thank you.
Thanks so much. Our last panelist, Mr. Milan, unfortunately, he couldn't join us, but I'm just going to request, we have a couple of other investors with us. Hormaz, would you like to share some feedback? I would like to invite Dr. Mishra also.
Sure. Yeah, that would be nice.
Founder and one of the angels. He has invested over a dozen companies himself. So, Dr. Mishra, if you're there, would you like to share a quick minute summary with us?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, you can unmute yourself now, sir.
Hi, this is Manoj Mishra. I think the event has been extremely good, as rightly said by Ravindra, in terms of the breadth of the sectors which the startups have covered. And of course, the technologies were very, very wide and good, passionate startups. A feedback from my side would be, I think, partly covered by Gourav, that I think from an investor perspective, what is more important is, since I have invested in 10 startups, I can say one is the traction as on date. Second is the founding team. Third, of course, is what is their revenue projections for future. And of course, along with the valuation, the rationale for valuation, what instruments you are asking, offering for the investor. And most importantly, every investor is coming in for an exit. So what is your visibility for that investor in terms of where will the company go, or where will the valuation go in terms of the next 2, 3 years, 5 years? These are principal things. You may have a great product, but if you don't cover up these things, investor said, fine, that's everything is absolutely right. Or it goes for the next round of discussion. If strategically you are putting up for the next round of discussion, maybe some of the guys who are interested may not come in unless these questions are answered. And as rightly Gourav said, just a checkbox can answer these call questions. Otherwise, wonderful. I appreciate TIE MergerDomo team to have brought in together. And I see there is a big number of the future events are also planned. So it would be great to be part of this bandwagon. Thank you so much.
Great. Thank you so much, Dr. Mishra. Hormaz, would you like to help us summarize and give our panelists a vote of thanks?
Absolutely. This was very, very delightful. I'll once again thank all our investor panelists who have taken time out, who have given their candid feedback, patiently heard to all our startups. And with all this value add, I think all of us, it's always a learning experience for all of us, me too, that all these, how all the feedback that we get should be incorporated. So we will take it as a homework at the MergerDomo team, and we will help our startups themselves, take these points into consideration so that it's easy for them to take it up in the next rounds. I'll thank all the startups who took time to showcase the deals. And of course, as always, it's the audience who makes the whole thing very interesting. So thank you, audience, for spending almost 1.5 hours with us, and look forward for many more such events. I'll always, as always, I'd like to thank Vijeta and team at TIE for being the backbone for such events and making it a wonderful success. And also with MSH, Mighty Startup Hub, who also are always, looking to help the startup ecosystem. And that's where our partnership is aligned to help the Indian startup ecosystem grow. So I thank everybody over here once again, and possibly we can have a quick informal session also with the investors if anybody would like to ask a few questions, and if investors do have time on their side. So yeah.
So, great. Thanks. Thank you so much, Thomas. Yes, I know it's been 1.5 hours. We've taken investors' time, but if you all have another 5-10 minutes, probably we could have a casual interactive session